whiter than a skull, with wide, livid, scarlet eyes.
Voldemort had been talked about for so long, and the build-up to Voldemort arriving in the books is just immense.
And a nose that was flat as a snake's, with slits for nostrils.
I remember reading, and then his face turns round, when Voldemort's face turns round, and just thinking, wow, wow, wow.
Lord Voldemort had risen again.
How do you create that character who has such an effect on an entire universe that some people have followed him, and most certainly a huge number of people have been intimidated by him, and that he is a worthy adversary for not just Dumbledore, but ultimately our hero, the chosen one, Harry Potter?
There was only one that we were truly interested in, and it was Rafe.
I was just aware of it as a very successful franchise. I hadn't bought into it. And actually, the thing that made me excited was the artwork that Mike Newell showed me about the look of the character.
There were a lot of tense discussions about his look. To his great credit, David Heyman, the producer, always said, you've got to make his face weirder than just a human face. And that's going to take you doing something with the nose, which Rafe and I were both vehemently opposed to. And then we did some drawings, and then Rafe suddenly said one day, you know, it's not half bad.
The nose is flattened to suggest the physiognomy of a snake. It was just a gut feeling about, oh, that's an interesting and daring and challenging, hopefully scary look.
We're approaching the graveyard set.
Wasn't going to slip on screen quietly. It came on and hit it with such ferocity and viciousness.
He popped up and he was very fleet of foot. He was like a dancer. He plays it with a lightness and a mercurialness and a sort of sensuality. There's attractiveness about it, although he looks like some weird mixture of reptile and sort of broken fallen angel, doesn't he?
Fate, Harry. That's what brought us together 13 years ago.
The hard thing is, he's really a personification of, quote, evil, which I think is impossible to play. I mean, you want to feel there's a living mind and a brain behind any of these so-called villains. Where I start from is the idea of love is repulsive to Voldemort. You can't help thinking that he's been cheated of it. So therefore it becomes a thing to despise and to destroy.
When dear, sweet Lily Potter gave her life for her only son, she provided the ultimate protection. I could not touch him.
It would be easy for Voldemort to become this kind of archetypal bad guy, but Rafe imbues him with some very scary corners.
You can't play the whole scene on one note, so you've got to look for the little gradations and nuances. So you try things.
How lies have fed your them. Do you know where you're standing? Do you know where you're standing?
In trying them, stuff happens. It gets more fluid, it gets more fluent, I suppose, more fully inhabited.
No matter, things have changed. I can touch you now.
Mike Newell was quite keen that we didn't deny the moments of overt visceral rage and a sort of ecstatic rage and a delight in a way, a sort of sadistic delight in the power he's got.
Attaboy, Harry.
I think you can sometimes cheat yourself and the character and indeed the audience of those kind of red-blooded moments. At the same time, I'm trying to find a balance. Mike just said, don't go all subtle on me. Let me see a few moments of craziness.
I didn't want to talk to Rafe that much, simply because I know that I'm not a good enough actor to actually be talking and then suddenly have to turn around and pretend that he's my worst enemy.
1073, take 2, B camera, A on the end.
Maybe in 10, 20 years I might be able to do that, but now I know that I can't.
Pick up your wand, Potter.
So I didn't want to get into big conversations with him just, you know, before we were doing takes and things.
Don't you turn your back on me, Harry Potter! I want you to look at me when I kill you! I want to see the light leave your eyes!
That's, I think, the most focused the set has ever been on all 4 films. There was a real sense that the last 3 films and everything we've done in the 4th film up to this point, it's all building up to this scene, to this confrontation with Voldemort. This is not only what a lot of the wizarding world have been waiting for, it's also what the audiences have been waiting for.
Let's go!
So I think we all felt quite a big sense of responsibility.
Let's do it again. Very good, very good, very good, very good. All right, once again, right away. We'll print it.